Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome to the channel. This is my review, spoiler free of course, The Witcher Sword of Destiny, written and created by Andrzej Sapkowski. So just like the previous book I reviewed on the channel, The Last Wish, this is a collection of short stories that follow the Witcher, who is Geralt of Rivia. And this is a sort of adventurer character who goes around in this horror-stricken world full of monsters and takes care of the monsters. He's sort of a bounty hunter that tracks these monsters down and does it for a fee, of course, but and a lot of the times he's dealing with moral decisions. A lot of ethics are involved with making these hard decisions. But in the end, he is there for the people. He is trying to protect the innocent from the monsters that still are lingering on in this time period and trying to cause havoc for the humans and the other near human races that inhabit this world, which is called, I believe, the continent. So we have the main story in here, and this is my first positive about this here book is the whole topic of destiny, right? Sword of Destiny. How does that relate to The Witcher? The Witcher has destiny that is tied to a certain character. If you've played the games, if you have watched the Netflix series, I'm talking about Ciri. Ciri is introduced in this here book, Sword of Destiny, and well, he has to deal with, do I actually want this girl to travel with me as is destined, or can I break destiny and go my own way? And well, we get that answer in this book, which I appreciate, but still, the ramifications, the thinking about what exactly is destiny. Is it something that I can escape from? Is it something that I can run away? Is it just fear that leads me to believe that I don't believe that destiny exists? I just like that whole aspect that the Witcher Geralt is thinking about. I will say that there's also plenty of other cool short stories. There's plenty of fantasy short stories. Like you read these books, this here book, it's got dragons, right? There's a short story all about dragons, people transforming into dragons. It doesn't get much more fantasy vibes than that, right? We also have a story that deals with doppelgangers and this guy who is taking form of another merchant and running all over Novigrad. You also have a short story that deals with a mermaid that is in love with a human government official. And then there's also these beings that come out of the water and cause havoc and are killing the fishermen. Stuff like that is what really makes the Witcher universe different from Game of Thrones, different from Lord of the Rings, because it's, again, grounded in a sort of reality, but then it's got sorcerers and, this Witcher and the sorcerer falling in love, but they can't be with each other. And it really brings in the pulling of the heartstrings, guys. I really felt some certain moments in this book that I was like, I just got hit in the feels, because man, oh man, Andrzej Sapkowski is able to write stories that you get attached to these characters, even if they're just temporary characters. Like, of course, you got Yennefer, you got Dandelion, you got The Witcher. Those are your three main characters in this story for the most part that we, constantly, and Ciri, of course, that we revisit from time to time again. But you also have these minor characters that are introduced that might only be in one short story. And by the end of that short story of the 50 or 75-page story, I'm feeling for those characters because certain things happen. So I will applaud Andrzej Sapkowski for really just bringing it with his storytelling prowess and just the way that it's intellectual to the point where it also can be a crux for the story. I will say that, and I'm just going to transition into my negatives here. Sometimes the writing is a little bit redundant and it just keeps going on, back and forth between Geralt and this other character at the time, which just leads it to be a little monotonous. Certain things just repeating themselves a little bit too often and for a little bit too long. And I will say, it's not the fault of the book itself, but I would like to see, and I know it's coming, more of a serialized version of a story rather than short stories, if that makes any sense. I can't wait to read a Witcher story where it's just one continuous story, because I do feel like some of these short stories in this here book also don't relate very well to anything else happening with the central Witcher story with dealing with destiny. And this happened again or previously in The Last Wish, which I reviewed on the channel. So I can't wait to really just dive into the Witcher saga, which is the next few books in the series. But with that being said, I will give Witcher Sword of Destiny a score of an 8 out of 10. I didn't like this one as much as the first book, The Last Wish, but what I do think this story does is, of course, flesh out the universe. When you have short stories which are jumping all over this main continent, you're getting different perspectives on many of these minor characters. You're learning plenty about the beasts and the monsters that inhabit the continent, and you're getting a good deal of information about what's going on with sorcerers and what's going on with different factions and how people feel about the Witchers and how people feel about sorcerers and sorceresses and all that good stuff. So it just really lays the groundwork for what's to come in the upcoming books. If you guys have watched the Netflix series between The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny, you're going to realize that a lot of these stories are actually in the Netflix series. They adapted them, and you're going to notice, that there's stuff that's a little bit different, but overall, it's pretty neat now having read both of these books and watched season 1 of Netflix, seeing how well they dealt with this subject matter. If you have played the games, there's not a lot that really is in the games that's in the books right now. At least maybe later on in the series, you'll find some more stuff like that. But for now, I'm very satisfied and I'm very excited to read what's next in the Witcher series. So what did you guys think of Sword of Destiny? Have you read it? Have you read any of the Witcher novels? Let's talk about them in the comment section down below. For more on book reviews and other pop culture, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you'll never miss another video from me. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.
Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.